The Rockford Rescue Mission serves those in need with a warm meal on Christmas Eve. This year marks the 61st holiday meal. WIFR reporter Bria Walters talks to residents of the Life Recovery Program about what the banquet means to them.
It's really a beautiful thing.
Around 100 volunteers and nearly 400 guests, all a part of the Christmas meal at Rockford Rescue Mission. Carol Molinari says the meal is about community and healing.
See people comforted and having dialogue and singing and all the joy that comes around that. God's love is present here.
Misty Jers is in the Rescue Mission's Life Recovery Program with Molinari. It helps people struggling with addictions. She says the mission saved her life.
I matter today. I didn't matter a year ago, but I matter today.
The mission is used to large feasts. This year alone, it served more than 100,000 meals to people who desperately need them.
It's an opportunity to kind of reconnect with people that will love on them and not judge them.
This meal is no easy feat. Preparation started weeks ago. It takes dedicated volunteers and generous donations to fill hundreds of plates with ham, sweet potatoes, cornbread, and cake.
You see families coming together, kids home from college and children serving.
Antimita encourages those around to volunteer, not just at the holidays, but year-round.
We have many other serving opportunities, food prepping opportunities.
We serve during the week as well, and it's just amazing the people that you get to interact with.
In Rockford, Bria Walters, WIFR News.
If you are interested in getting involved, you could reach out to the Rockford Rescue Mission through its website or call them. You can find the number on our website, WIFR.com.